there, and welcome to Firm Foundation lesson number 3. God created the spirit beings and Lucifer rebelled. Once more, I just want to let you know that you can download notes for this lesson at my new website, Major Jolt Media, a roadmap for your soul. There you can find notes to all these lessons as well as my other video series, Firm Foundation Bite Size, which is really the same teaching, just smaller chunks ranging from 5 to 12 minutes in length. Also, you can find my podcast, Where is God When Life Sucks? It's a twice weekly devotional, and my blog is there, The Brainwashed Pilgrim. So just type in majorjolt.us, that's all the address you need, majorjolt.us, and that'll take you to Major Jolt Media, the home of the Firm Foundation series, and a whole lot more. Well, we begin with A, introduction. Have you ever wondered, where did angels come from? What about Satan? What about demons? Most people have an interest in angels. I mean, when we're young, we're told that we have guardian angels watching over us. And many of you watching this can probably point to one or more instances when you knew that something like a car was coming right at you, but somehow your car swerved and avoided a head-on collision. I mean, we all have stories of times when we're aware that someone's watching over us and even diverting some calamity from taking place. But along with our belief in angels, we live in a day when many people are drawn to the dark side, to that which has satanic overtones, even to satanic practices like voodoo. Many places in the world believe that people can be possessed by demons. Sadly, here in the United States, we have psychologists, psychiatrists, and a whole lot of drugs that we use to fix people. And yet, even with our modern medicine, we can't really figure out how to fix or help people who are psychotic or schizophrenic. The best that we can do is just drug them up so that they behave like zombies, or lock them up in a mental ward of a hospital, or in our misguided compassion, we tell them that they have rights. And we feel so virtuous because we let them live on the streets as homeless people. More often than not, we pay a high price for not believing in demon possession and taking it seriously. We're in shock and horror when a young man kills his mother and then goes to the Sandy Hook Elementary School and shoots and kills 20 children and 6 adult staff members. And the first thing that the media and some in the public call for is gun control, as though a gun caused this young man to become a mass murderer. The Bible says that Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Is it possible that 20-year-old Adam Lanza was possessed by demons? Is it possible that he was under the control of demonic forces that had taken over his body and mind? And if so, where do these demons come from? In today's lesson, we'll look at the origin of demons and all the spirit beings. To gain a good understanding of the spirit beings, it requires knowledge of many scriptures throughout the Bible. And we won't be going through a lot of scripture references. And this lesson may not answer all your questions, but future lessons may help to clear up some issues. But let's start with this, God's Word, the Bible. It tells us what we need to know about the spirit beings. In this lesson, we want to look at some of the basic truths about God's angels as well as the origin of Satan. But first, let's do a quick review of some of the important points in Lesson 2, God alone. We said that God alone had no beginning, and God will have no end. God is eternal. God is supreme and sovereign. God needs nothing. God is spirit. He's not a force. He's the creator. He's not in everything. He exists apart from his creation. God does not have a material body or any material needs. God is everywhere all the time. God has no beginning and no ending. He is the God of all eternity. We come to B. The spirits were created perfect by God, and God created all the spirits. God created all the spirits perfect. Not one of them was evil or unkind. You see, God cannot create anything evil because God is holy. Everything that he thinks, says, and does is perfect. I've got a timeline here showing God's creation of angels, Satan, and demons, which are the fallen angels. I placed a red arrow pointing to their place on the timeline. All that we're talking about in this lesson had happened before the creation of the world and Adam and Eve. In the beginning, God created all the spirit beings, and they have different names: spirits, angels, cherubim, seraphim, the host of heaven, powers, principalities, rulers in high places, stars or morning stars. All the spirits were created at this time. Before the beginning, none of them were alive because it's God who gave them life. In John chapter 1, verse 3, everything came into existence through him. That's Jesus. Not one thing that exists was made without him. He was the source of life, and that life was the light of humanity. And in Nehemiah 9:6, you alone are the Lord. You made the skies and the heavens and all the stars. You made the earth and the seas and everything in them. You preserved them all, and the angels of heaven worship you. You see, God is greater than the spirits. He lived before them eternally. He's the one who made them. God did not give the spirits material bodies when he created them. And now we come to C. The spirits were created with great wisdom and strength to serve God. Well, in the beginning, all the spirits were God's angels. They were created to do whatever God wanted them to do. Psalm 103:20 says, "Praise the Lord, all his angels, you mighty beings who carry out his orders and are ready to obey his spoken orders." You see, angels are very intelligent, but they're not all knowing like God is. Angels are stronger than we are, and the Bible records that God has given them the ability to do amazing things, but they're not all powerful like God. You see, God is wiser and stronger than all of the spirits. And this is an important truth for us to remember. No matter what you may have heard or seen presented in movies like The Exorcist or books or anywhere else, the Bible tells us that God is greater than all. D, the spirits are innumerable, and the theme here is that God is all-powerful. God created so many spirit beings that it's impossible for us to count them. Revelation 5:11 says, the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. I mean, how could God create so many good, strong, and wise spirits? Well, it's because he's almighty. He can do anything and everything that he wants to do. Now we come to E, the spirits lived in heaven. All of the spirits lived in heaven with God in the beginning. Now, this probably raises the question, where is heaven? And the answer is, we don't know where it is. But it certainly isn't here on earth. However, heaven could exist here in another dimension. But regardless of whether heaven is up there or around us in a different dimension, it's a real place mentioned many times in the Bible. Heaven is God's dwelling place. And even though he is everywhere all the time, heaven is his home. In Psalm 11:4 says that the Lord's throne is in heaven. The Bible tells us that heaven is a wonderful place, far better than any place we've ever known or could imagine. F, Lucifer's original position before God in heaven. You see, God didn't create all the angels exactly the same. I mean, some were more beautiful, intelligent, and wiser than others. And the greatest angel of all was called Lucifer. And the name Lucifer means morning star. And God gave Lucifer a very important position in heaven. I mean, he was kind of like a rock star in heaven. He was given a place of great authority and power over the other angels. Ezekiel 28:14 calls him the anointed cherub. He, like all of God's creation, was created perfect. Ezekiel 28:15 says, you were blameless in your ways from the day you were created until unrighteousness was found in you. And now we come to G, Lucifer's rebellion. Well, because Lucifer was created by God and given the highest position over all the other angels, he should have loved, obeyed, and served God. But after a time, Lucifer became very proud of his beauty, intelligence, and position. I mean, have you ever met anyone like that? They think that the whole world revolves around them. Their continual focus is on themselves. We call that type of person a narcissist. And narcissism is a pursuit of gratification from vanity or egotistic admiration of one's own abilities. The term narcissist originates from Greek mythology, where the young Narcissus fell in love with his own image that was reflected in a pool of water. Ezekiel 28:17 says, you became too proud because of your beauty. You wasted your wisdom because of your greatness. So I threw you to the ground and I left you in front of the kings so that they could see you. Another passage of Scripture gives us insight into Lucifer's attitude in Isaiah 14:13. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven above the stars of God. I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly in the far reaches of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. You see, Lucifer wanted to be like the Most High God. He decided that he wanted to take over God's position as ruler over all things. Lucifer was the first one to do evil, which we define as anything that is different from what God wants or agrees with. Now, you may be wondering, if Lucifer was created perfect, then how could he rebel? Well, the fact is the Bible doesn't give us a clear answer for this, but it does show many examples of the fact that God allows choices to be made regarding obedience and disobedience. In Isaiah 14:13, Lucifer said, I will ascend, I will exalt, I will sit, I will ascend, I will be like the Most High. I mean, Lucifer's rebellion was a conscious choice. Lucifer wanted to be like the Most High. He decided that he wanted to take over God's position in heaven. Lucifer is the first one to do evil. H, other angels followed Lucifer in his rebellion. Many of God's angels, they followed Lucifer, their leader. They too rebelled against God. In Revelation 12:7, then a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels had to fight a war against the serpent. The serpent and his angels fought, but it was not strong enough, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. The huge serpent was thrown down. That ancient snake named Devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world, was thrown down to earth. Its angels were thrown down with it. Now we come to I. God knew what Lucifer and the other spirits were thinking and planning. The theme here is that God is everywhere all the time, and he knows everything. In Isaiah 14:12, how you are fallen from heaven, O shining star, son of the morning. You've been thrown down to earth, you who destroyed the nations of the world. For you said to yourself, I will ascend to heaven and set my throne above God's stars. I will preside in the mountain of the gods far away in the north. I will climb to the highest heavens and be like the Most High. Well, God created all the spirits, and he knew what they were thinking and planning. He knew that Lucifer had become proud and wanted to take his place. You see, God knew Lucifer's thoughts and the thoughts of each of the rebellious spirits. Nothing can be kept secret from God because nothing can surprise God. He knows everything before it ever happens. He knows what you and I are going to think before we ever think it, before it even comes into our minds. He's everywhere, and he sees everything, and he knows everything. In Hebrews 4:13, nothing in all creation is hidden from God. Everything is naked and exposed before his eyes, and he is the one to whom we are accountable. Now we come to L. God removed Lucifer and his followers from their position as God's servants. And the theme here is that God is holy and righteous. He demands death as a payment for sin. I mean, do you really think that God would let Lucifer take his position? I mean, what do you think God's reaction was to Lucifer's selfish ambition? If someone suddenly tried to take over our government, strong defense measures would immediately be taken. Our government would send out the National Guard and all of our military. Martial law would be enacted. Our government is important and powerful and wants to be in control of our daily lives in so many ways. But think how supremely important and powerful God is, and he is good, loving, and caring. He doesn't want to control us like robots or force us to do his will. I mean, who is wiser than God? And who is stronger than God? He's always lived, and he lives by his own power. He doesn't need anything to live. He lived before the beginning, and he gave life to all the spirits. You see, God would not allow Lucifer to take his position in heaven. No one can take God's place, because he's the only true God. God, in great anger, removed Lucifer from his important position of leadership over the angels. And God also removed the other angels who followed Lucifer from their place of service in heaven. You see, God is perfect and right in everything that he thinks and does. Anyone who doesn't think or act like God is totally unacceptable to him and cannot be his friend. Therefore, God would not allow Lucifer and his spirit followers to continue in their positions there in heaven. As we mentioned in the beginning of this lesson, some of these details must be understood in the light of many passages of Scripture, and we're not going to be able to study them in these lessons, but in numerous instances, the Bible records the activity of Satan and his demons here on earth. They're no longer recorded as God's servants because they're now in opposition to God. In Job chapter 1, verse 6, God tells us that Satan is wandering the earth, and yet he can still visit heaven, as we'll see here in this verse. It says that one day when the angels came to stand in front of the Lord, Satan the accuser came along with them. The Lord asked Satan, "Where have you come from?" And Satan answered the Lord, "From wandering all over the earth." J. God prepared the lake of fire for Lucifer and his spirit followers. And the theme is God is holy and righteous. He demands death as a payment for sin. And God prepared a terrible place of everlasting punishment called the lake of fire, where he's going to send Lucifer and the other spirits who followed him. He's going to send them to the lake of fire to be punished forever. You see, the fact is God won't tolerate disobedience to him, and God always punishes those who fight against him. Matthew 25:41 refers to the eventual punishment of the devil and his angels. Then the king will say to those on his left, "Get away from me. God has cursed you. Go into everlasting fire that was prepared for the devil and his angels." And Revelation 20:10 tells us that at the end of the world, the devil will be cast into the lake of fire and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. K. Lucifer and his angels, they hate God. And the theme is Satan fights against God and his will. Satan is a liar and deceiver, and he hates man. Lucifer and his followers, they hate God and every good thing that God loves. Satan and his demons, they hate Christians and God's chosen people, the Jews. And right from the time that God banished Satan from serving him in heaven until today, Lucifer and all these other demonic spirits have been fighting against God and everything that he does. Lucifer is now called Satan, which means enemy, adversary, opponent, or accuser. And as I said earlier, Satan's spirit followers are called demons, and Satan is God's great enemy. I've encountered people who are demon-possessed. Once I saw two young college wrestlers, really strong, from the University of Vermont. They used every ounce of strength to get a demon-possessed girl out of their car into a house where she could receive help and deliverance. Individuals who are demon-possessed, they possess unusual strength. They can also tell if you're walking in the light or walking in darkness. They also lie and deceive, and oftentimes the demons will speak through the person in an eerie, deep voice that doesn't even belong to that person. The demons truly have taken over that individual and have either him or her under their control. Satan fights against God day and night, trying to stop the things that God does. Satan's demons help Satan in opposing God. Now we come to L. Satan and his spirits no longer live in heaven. Satan and his demons are now active all over the earth. In Job 1 and 2, it records conversations between God and Satan, in which Satan says he's been going to and fro in the earth, walking up and down it. Now we come to M, conclusion. The theme is that God is supreme and sovereign. God is holy and righteous. He demands death as a payment for sin. God is the supreme God and the creator of everything seen and unseen. God is greater than all, and everything that he does is perfect and holy. He's greater than all of his created beings. God is greater than the angels. God is greater than Satan and the demons. And that's really important for us to know and remember. It's God alone who can tell us what happened in the very beginning. In our next lesson, number 4, we'll examine what the Bible says about the beginnings of the physical world, the heavens and the earth. It's extremely important for us to consider what God says about his creation. That's coming up in lesson number 4. Until then, this is Pastor Dale saying, Shalom.